Hey, my name is Monica, and for the past year in 2021, I've been having this dream of becoming a super assassin, a killer, a badass, if you will. Not in reality, I don't actually want to kill people, but I think it'd be really cool to have this skill set of being capable of murder. Yeah, super red flag. And one thing that a lot of assassin-y types you see in films or whatever is that they have pretty good flexibility. And that is something that I do not have. I kind of made it my New Year's resolution to begin truly trying to stretch. I've always been kind of into stretching, but now I was determined I have a goal. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. And also, flexibility in itself just looks really, really impressive. Especially when you see people just suddenly drop into splits. That's really awesome. I want to take this whole year and upload a video every month to document a realistic viewpoint of what it means to stretch. And what I mean by a realistic viewpoint of the process, well, some people are really good at committing to things. I am not really great at committing to projects or goals, even though I really want to achieve this. It might not necessarily come without some obstacles, if you will. I'm a procrastinator. I'm lazy. I have executive dysfunction. It happens. But I'm going to try my best. In my ideal world, these videos would help bring a community of people. You know, one type of person who actually knows how to stretch properly, and then the other type of people who are like me and just want to know how to stretch and is working towards flexibility. And that way, people can educate each other and form this little community of knowledge, because that's very helpful. So for the month of January, it was mostly to learn about stretching and to get into the habit of stretching. So for this month, I took advantage of the new Stretch app. It was released in late 2021. And it's an app to kind of help beginners get into the groove of stretching and teach you various different types of stretching and when to utilize them and for what muscle groups, etc., etc. They had a New Year's challenge that was free to everyone. Otherwise, you have to pay for the app. For the month of January, I followed this New Year's challenge to the best of my ability. That didn't quite work out entirely, but that's okay. Along with the New Year's challenge, I ended up doing a little research on YouTube and whatever to understand proper stretching. So, let's get right into it. The challenge is comprised of 21 stretch scenarios. Therefore, it lasts for about 3 weeks. I did not complete the last 4 scenarios because I am lazy. With the exception of this very first few stretches, I ended up doing all of them right before bed, mostly because I'm a procrastinator and I didn't really find the willpower to do so until, right before I go to bed. Some of the scenarios were specifically made to do in the morning or in the evening, but I just did them all right before bed anyway. I try to record every single session that I did too. So here you go. I'm stretching. I already work out pretty frequently, so I already get my stretches in, but these were pretty nice as well. I was going to say something, and I totally forgot what it was. Oh, so during this video, he was saying something about... Well, there was a couple things he said during this stretch today. One of them was that the stretching shouldn't feel like pain. So I guess I need to figure out how far can I go, because it does hurt, but I don't want it to be too much, right? I don't know. The problem is I have pain tolerance, so is it actually too much or is it okay? The level of uncomfortable pain that I feel. So I need to figure out how far I should be stretching and am I overstretching. So that's the first thing. The second thing was him saying that to release tension in your body when stretching. I'm thinking I need to research on whether or not you're supposed to relax your body when you're doing stretches like this. Because I tend to tense myself up. And is tensing myself up holding me back with my stretching? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research. Because maybe I'm not progressing as fast as I could be. But I'm not even sure what progression should look like. I guess we'll find out. Heads up, I won't even be doing the research for another 5 days. Can you believe it? I am really good at this. Yep, so we're just stretching some more. Everything's good. I even do a little stretching at my gym. Look at that booty. As you can tell, there's a heavy emphasis on my middle and front splits. This particular day is not a good example, but many scenarios in this app were just a bunch of static stretches. And what the app doesn't tell you is that if this is your first movement of the day, then your muscles aren't warmed up, and stretching statically is pretty bad. You actually want to do more dynamic stretches in that case. I thought that would be important for me to mention here in this video. I'm getting flexibility in my inner thigh, but there's something about the way that my hips are structured that isn't making it possible for me to sink down lower to the ground. So I might have to look into how to kind of work around that, because I feel like I'm getting the flexibility when I'm doing just like the frog pose. But when I extend my legs out to do like the splits, it's not quite working. It just feels like my hips are preventing my legs from like, you know, right now they're like this and I want it to be flat. But it's not really like letting me, it's weird. Yeah, we'll have to do some research on that too. So this morning stretch scenario is perfect. It has just dynamic stretches. So this is good to warm up your muscles. So like I said before, I wanted to do research on how to properly stretch to do splits. So I've already found a video I'm gonna watch. If there's anything else I need to watch, I'll watch those too. So basically, if you go on YouTube and you search how to do the splits or how to train for the splits, this is the first video that comes up. I'll watch this, and if I feel like I need something else or like a little more, I'll do a little more research, watch another video or something.
Fastest and easiest way to do the split for 3 reasons.
Let me just summarize. So most people will just focus on the exercise aspect of stretching, but they don't consider the method, the time it takes for the stretch, how many sets you do per stretching session, how long do you rest, and then how many sessions per week do you do it for. And here's 2 different weekly schedules that take these factors into account. You can pause to check this out for longer. Then of course it's important to use stretches that target the muscles that you want to stretch. And then he talks about the Anderson method, which is basically doing a pre-stretch for 10 seconds and then doing your actual stretch for a minute.
Advice to you is to not try a bunch of different exercises. You don't need quantity, you only need quality. So
that kind of mindset actually goes into just exercise in general. A lot of people think you need to have like a variety of exercises, when in reality you need to keep repeating a certain amount. You can change it up once in a while, but it has to be once in a while. So when you're doing exercises, you have to keep training with a certain set for a few weeks, a few months, and then you can change it up for the next few weeks, few months. Changing it like weekly or even daily is actually not going to be very helpful. What I learned is that I need to actually plan out when I'm doing flexibility training or stretching in this case, and to focus on what I'm doing when I'm actually doing said session. This video was only about the front splits, so I'll have to figure out what are the best stretches for the side split, which I think I have an idea of what they might be. Pre-stretch, I never thought about actually pre-stretching. Usually I go like straight into the stretch, which might be the reason why when I do try to do the stretch, these split stretches, it tends to really hurt. Yes, my muscles can be warmed up, but I'm not really easing into the stretch as much as I should be, so I need to do a pre-stretch. I need to focus on my breathing. I'm really good at doing that when I'm exercising, but not so much with the stretch, because when you do like a cool down stretch, you know, you're like, ah, exercise is over, I can relax now, I'm just stretching. And in reality, stretching is literally just as important, so I need to remember to breathe. He said to do slow breathing, so here's the little schedule that I made that I plan to follow. So I'm going to continue doing the stretch challenge with the stretch app, but I might take a rest for half a week up to a week with the splits for right now, because I haven't been doing them entirely properly. I don't want to injure myself, so I'm just going to take a pause on this and let my hamstrings and all that relax for a moment. And then I keep watching videos on the split mechanics, but I'm going to explain that in next month's video as opposed to this one. This one I want to keep very foundational. I can't make this shit up. Hamstring stretch. And I said I wasn't gonna do my front or middle split stretch anymore. And what does this challenge do? Make me do the splits. Okay, but beyond this challenge, I'm not doing it. Not for another week. In terms of this app, it's actually pretty convenient. I've enjoyed it. The instructions are really clear. It comes with a video. It's fantastic. You know, the only issue is that I don't necessarily want to pay for this app because I'm broke. But it's really good for beginners, I think. Look at that booty. If you like really don't know where to begin or have troubles with consistency, I think this is a pretty good option. I was really enjoying it. Ugh, still sucks. And if you like yoga, there's a lot of it in this app actually. And for a while my doggy joins me. He's very confused. I've realized now that this video has slowly become a stretch app review. I think I'm okay with that. And then unfortunate for me, there is a day dedicated to middle splits and another day dedicated to front splits. But I never made it to the front splits because I didn't commit, remember? So like I said, I ended up missing the last few days because of work and travel and other excuses I could throw out. I didn't necessarily not stretch, because like I said, I would work out and I stretched then, but I just didn't do the challenge. So yeah, foundationally, I felt like I learned a lot. I wasn't able to necessarily show that I learned a lot, but I did. I found that using the Anderson method has been really, like, it's game-changing. Because I'll go in for a stretch, and I'll do like the pre-stretch. And the pre-stretch, if it wasn't explained really good before, is that the pre-stretch, you kind of get a little bit of a tug on that muscle, but not too much, you know, just to feel the muscle for 10, 20 seconds. And then you go into the actual stretch. So I'll go into the stretch, realize I'm like tensing up, and then I'll relax my muscle. And then as I relax, I can feel that I could go a little farther. So I'll like deepen my stretch. And then I notice I'm tensing again. So when I go into it, I'm tense, I deliberately relax myself, and then I'm able to stretch again. So as I'm doing this one stretch, I'm able to push further and further, and I do that like, I don't know, 3-4 times. So it's actually pretty cool. And I'm trying not to push myself to the point of pain. The only thing is that I haven't figured out to breathe yet. And I'll get there at some point. But so far, so good in the month of January. Of course, when you see a lot of videos that say, I learned this in 30 days, you can see people literally learning the splits in 30 days. And I'm just not built like that. They're built different. I'm built different. It's just not going to happen. So that's why I'm saying that my video is going to be more realistic for me. I mean, I probably can get into a split in 30 days, but I haven't figured out how yet. And that'll be explained more in the next video, how that works. It's mid-February and I'm finally editing this January video. Procrastinator. I hope that was kind of educational and enjoyable, entertaining. I hope that people feel not as bad when they see these people achieving splits in 30 days. Not everyone gets to do that, and that's okay. And I hope to see some good progress in the next few months with that. And show other skills. I plan to show some other skills as well. All right, I'll see you next month. See ya. Thank you for watching.